So this picks up on all four?
I wish it did.
Well, so there's no electrical connection all the way through?
No, it's practically a Brio toy.
Oh, right. That's a bit harsh, but... Right. Do you mind if I use your loo?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
Is it just in the house?
Yeah, just top of the stairs and straight on.
Okay, I'm going to give you the controller.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't go in my box. It's top secret what's in there, so don't touch it.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, no worries. You can trust me, mate.
I know I can.
Oh, I'll see you in 5?
Yeah.
10? Alright. Dan's trains keep out. He's not there. You only live once, guys. What's this then? Just looks a bit familiar. Why do I feel like I've seen this somewhere before? That can't be. It's not one of them ones. We might have to go and have a closer look somewhere else. I need to find out for sure if this is what I think it is. But where can we go to work it out? What about on here? Amersham. Why does that ring a bell? Oh, I know. Have we got time though? Yeah, I think we can make it. Right, let's go. Rickmansworth, here we go. On the way to find what I need. So I'm just at Rickmansworth, waiting for a train to Amersham. I'm not quite sure if that's what I'm after. I don't think this is quite it.
This is an all-station Metropolitan Line train to Amersham.
Surely this is the right place. Gotta be in it. Let's go for a little walk, shall we? Now, I don't know about you lot, but this looks suspiciously familiar. So here we are at the top of Amersham. And there's a certain red engine that a lot of you might recognise. What do you all reckon to that then? Still not convinced. I don't actually think my eyes are deceiving me. It's Met 1. Spot the Met 1 in 00. How cool is that? I'm really pleased with this. So let's take a couple pictures and I suppose we'll have to get out of here before Dan notices. think we've got a couple minutes. So it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
I said not to go in my box. What are you doing?
Nothing to see here, mate. We just. Right then, we've got rid of Dan from Rapido Trains, so I suppose now we better take a close look at Metropolitan number 1. Hey guys, so yeah, I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but I have the pleasure of having Rapido Trains UK's new EP of Metropolitan 1 in my hand. I never thought this day would come. I've laughed and joked about it with people for many years, and pretty much every time there's a wish list come out, I put this loco in there because it is, in my opinion, the missing link for London Underground modelers, because of its ties with steam on the Met, and obviously going back in history, pulling freight and passenger coaches up the Metropolitan main line. So this is the first engineering prototype that's come out. There are 2 in existence currently, and this is one of them. And basically it's been sent here for me to take photos and videos to show you guys, to help with the release, and to basically put it through its paces, because my layout has a few sort of different bits, such as the inclines and some funny track joins over like the lift out section and stuff like that, which is quite a hard test for a sample like this. So any little things I pick up on, I can obviously feed that back, as well as just being pretty in awe of the thing, to be honest. So I must stress, when looking at the final details of this, this is the first engineering prototype, so naturally that means there may be slight revisions to come. Also, it's had a lot of handling, so bear in mind any things like fingerprints, stuff like that, are to be expected. However, I must say, for a prototype model, it runs absolutely superb, as you will see on my layout. So the plan currently as it stands is there will be 4 liveries to choose from with this model. There will be 2 London Transport liveries from back when they were in service, L44 and L48, L44 being Met 1 back in the day. You'll also have 2 preservation liveries, one which is Metropolitan 1 up to 2009, and the other which is the current day Metropolitan 1, as you probably know and love, in its nice L150 steam on the Met condition. As I say, you've probably seen it plenty of times. Pricing for this when it comes out obviously can be subject to slight changes. Currently as it stands, we're looking around £180 DC, and around £280 DCC sound fitted. So sound is an option and it will be worked on. Sound will be provided, I'm told, by Next 18 ESU decoder. There is a nice firebox glow inside the cab as well, which obviously the decoder will operate and will operate on DC. And power is linked to all of the driving wheels mechanically rather than relying on the connecting rods on the side. So it should prove to be a very reliable drive setup. So since I mentioned the drive mechanism on the Locomotive, I figured the best way to actually show it off would probably be to run it around the layout. So I've gone ahead and put together a load of clips of Met1 being run in anger around Harefield. You can currently see it's on its way to Breakspear with a small goods train on the back, where it will drop those off and come back for something else. So I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but this release comes at the perfect time really, because it coincides with Met1's 125th anniversary of actually being built back in Neasden Works in 1898. Now it was supposedly built to replace a damaged A-Class 440T engine out of spare parts from some of the other E-Classes that were being built at the time, and subsequently it was numbered as Met number 1 to replace that engine. Another reason that 2023 is another important year is because it's actually 160 years of the Underground itself. So we've got 2 milestones in one, of which this Locomotive will help celebrate. Now hopefully this year we will see some heritage events to celebrate this 160-year milestone of the London Underground. However, as I'm sure you worked out by the fact I went to Amersham and saw a wooden version rather than the real thing, the real Loco itself is currently undergoing an overhaul at Quainton Road at the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre. So you can see in the video now we have made it to Breakspear with Met1. It brought the goods train into the loop outside, just as it was waiting for an S-Stock to depart and get out of the way so that it can perform a run round. So you can see it now reversing back out of Breakspear. It's going to begin to run round its train and go back onto the rear. Now the branch line on my layout is quite a good test of a locomotive, because to access the branch you've got radius 2 curves, you've got a very complicated scissor crossover, and just as you saw there we went over a large radius left hand curve point, and as you saw there's no stuttering, nothing at all to indicate any problems with the running of the locomotive, and it handles it with ease. You can also see here we are just creeping up to the back of our wagons again, and this demonstrates very well the slow speed capabilities of this engine, making it perfect for any sort of depot layout you might have, or in fact if you just want to do the same as me and pretty much just have a play with some wagons, shunt them up and down and just move things about in a nice gentle controlled manner. Now this smooth running, as I briefly mentioned earlier, is achievable because of the fact that both driven axles on this locomotive are mechanically linked to the motor itself, rather than your more conventional engines where you might have one axle linked to the motor and the rest driven off the connecting rods. This should allow for much smoother running, should prevent wear and should prevent any play in the motion. Power is once again provided to the locomotive via a Next 18 interface, and the sound fitted versions will come with a Lock Sound 5 DCC decoder with their pre-installed factory sound file and of course a pre-installed speaker, so it will all be ready to go. The Loco has plenty of die cast in its construction to keep it heavy enough to pull your favourite trains. As you can see there, we pulled a few Met goods wagons and now we're going on to these 4-wheel coaches to drag them around the layout just to give you a bit of variety. But as you'll see from a couple other clips later on, I did pull around a couple white metal kit built Dreadnought coaches, which are very heavy, and it managed them just fine. I'd imagine it'd probably do 4, maybe 5 of those, no problem at all around a flat layout. So I've got no issues there. And the weight, I'm told, comes in at around 5 grams more than your nearest competitive Loco, which is an H-Class in a red and yellow box. So hopefully that will be plenty for you guys to enjoy running. So we've picked up our little 4-wheel coach rake from the siding there. We've gone back into the station and now we've got to do a shunt move, propelling back onto the main line so that we can go out the other way. This is a great place to test the locomotive again because there's a lot of point work back to back. So there's a lot of areas where it could stutter or stall, but of course the all-wheel pickup is proving valuable on this engine. We're now going to run bunker first around the layout, as you can tell, and we're going to pull them 4-wheel coaches and see how it gets on. These coaches we're pulling around then are just some generic four-wheelers from that red box company we all know and used to love once upon a time. If only we had some actual Metropolitan liveried four-wheel coaches. Hattons, get on with your Genesis project. But we are where we are, so we'll just have to make do. If you want to pull these sort of coaches in more of a 1950s to 60s setting, then of course the L44 and L48 liveries will be more your cup of tea, and I'd imagine they'll be very popular for you old school modelers. If you're someone like me who prefers a bit of modern image, then of course you've got the Metropolitan Railway livery from when it was first preserved with the gold steam dome and safety valves from 1999 to 2009, or up to modern times you can go with the Metropolitan 1 livery, same as the wooden modeler I showed you earlier in Amersham, which is from 2009 onwards. To set apart the two preserved examples, they do also have air braked equipment in the cab, as well as air reservoir tanks on top of the locomotive's water tank itself. So hopefully that will cater for all of you modelers across different periods, and there'll be something for everyone. So hopefully you've liked all these running shots. The loco is just making its final approach back into the station now under the platform screens. And if you read what it says on the screen, order yours at rapidotrains.co.uk. So please go ahead, get your orders in, and let's make this locomotive as popular as it should be. So thanks for watching this video on Rapido Trains UK's new Metropolitan E-Class locomotive. If you want to find out more, head to rapidotrains.co.uk. This, I'm hoping, is going to be really popular, and you never know, it could even lead to more in the future. Let's make it happen. So just one final video to sum up then. It's now at the end of the day. Dan's had to head back to the office with Met 1 for safekeeping until the weekend's show. I've just got to say on that note, a huge thank you to Rapido Trains UK for trusting me with this project and the loco. It's been an absolute honour and a privilege from my part, and I really hope that it does as well as I think it should. So by the time you watch this video, the order book should open on Rapido Trains UK's website. If you've got any questions or queries, they will be having a stand at Alexandra Palace at the London Festival of Railway Modelling exhibition. So go up to them, see the model in person, have a good close-up look at it, and ask them any questions or queries you might have. Alternatively, I'll probably be floating about over the weekend, so if you do spot me, feel free to say hello. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and it wasn't too cheesy at the beginning. It's something a bit different that I thought would be funny to show you all. So from me to you, thank you all, and put your comments down below. Make sure you like the video, and if you can, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Rapido Trains UK's Facebook, Instagram, the usual stuff, and please follow them so you can keep up to date with the project. And like I say, if you see us at Ali Pally, say hello. So from me, I'll see you again next time.